is now.
You are listening to NUFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army. Live daily on the website, on YouTube, and on every online radio directory. NUFC Talk, the voice of the Toon Army.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to NUFC Talk live here. Another night show. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year 2026. Hopefully full of excitement for the channel and as well as obviously for Newcastle United, needless to say. Hopefully we get our cup back in 2026. We are close. We're going to play Man City pretty soon. So can we beat them? I'm sure the Happy Clappers will say we'll beat them 5-0. We'll see. We will get their takes. We got two new faces joining us tonight, ladies and gents. Michael and Ian. One is supposedly a bedwetter. One is a happy clapper, supposedly. So, it's a good addition to keep things balanced. But there you go. So we shall see. Oh, well, Tina, of course, you're a happy clapper.
No, we're missing a person.
What do you mean?
There's somebody missing.
Who?
Michael?
Oh. Michael's on there, isn't it?
No, Michael's on.
He is now.
There you go. I think he's on there. Yeah, there you go. Michael's
I was pushed up the side, and I was like, I don't know if I just need to start.
Oh, there he is. There you go. Michael and Ian there, ladies and gents, joining us tonight. And going to be regular contributors now to NUFC Talk. They got a good takes. As you know, we welcome all fans from all walks of life. And I really like, although I'm not a happy clapper, I try to be in the middle. I did like what Ian had, we exchanged messages, of course. And I liked what you said about you said I can be scathing. Is that how you say it? Scathing.
Yeah.
But at heart, I'm a happy clapper. Having set through what's
I can be.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What having set through what's largely been shite since '74, the '74 Cup final. I like that. I like the way you put that. Although I'm not on your camp yet.
I think this is why you told me that Win was a bit of a happy clapper, is because, like me, he sat through decades where there's no hope at all of anything. And you have a little bit of an up because Keegan's manager for a while and then he's gone. Oh, and then Bobby comes in, and then he's gone. So, yeah, I mean, it's 20 years of rubbish, isn't it, before Piff took over and Eddie Howe came in. So I can cope with some inconsistency because compared to what the norm is for me, it's still fantastic.
Yeah, but that is not the norm though. That was bad. Mike, actually, that's not the norm for Newcastle United. That was just bad.
It is the norm.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That wasn't the norm.
If you're a young man like Michael, that's all he's ever known.
I wouldn't say young. Well, Bokey's the same. Bokey started supporting during in the Keegan era, as my son did, and to them it was all roses, and they hadn't been the 20 year before that. Never mind the 20 years since.
Yeah, it's one of those you have to sit there through the Bobby era and the Keegan era to really go, oh, this is brilliant, and that's when I got into it. Born 1996, first game 98. I'll tell you, I can't remember anything. The first game I remember 2003 Champions League. My dad spoiled us, and then when I was watching, the 0-0s where we don't have a shot on target against Norwich City in the 2010s, I'm sitting there going, Dad, why have you done this to me? Why have you
not what I signed up for?
Now let me ask you guys. Well, I mean, obviously the English personnel here will be able to identify. I'm just another American that knows a lot about football, but I'm American nonetheless. Let me ask you guys, where are you from? Michael, you are from Newcastle because I think Barney Wynn was talking about your surname, identifying your surname. So what part of Newcastle are you living in now?
So I'm living in Blythe. I was born in the RVI, just out of just like War Danburn. There's an Asda.
It's like War Bogey.
He's from Blythe. You'll never ever beat Danburn.
Oh, there you go, baby. We got the soundboard here, folks. Bokey's also from Blythe, and Tina lives in Blythe. What's up with this Blythe takeover, man? They're over
strong.
The Blythe connection. So that's low. But you were born in RBI, you said. I think Warren Amrit was the same. He's a fellow that joins from time to time. Ian, where are you from, mate?
Well, RVI is quite good. It's quite good at trying to become an authentic Geordie, Michael. But I was born in the Princess Elizabeth Maternity Hospital, which was pulled down.
Get
Yeah,
That's where the Geordies come from.
You guys brought that up before, though. Actually, I think Mighty Win and somebody else, they brought that up. That it was torn down. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I was in a taxi with them over in Newcastle, and you pointed it out, maybe. Where it was.
Are you on about the Princess Elizabeth or Princess Mary?
I can't remember. I thought it was Princess Mary.
Just off the North Road.
Yes.
That's Princess Mary.
It's not there now. Right.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it's still there, but it's not a hospital anymore.
That's how important it is, you see. It's not that important, is it?
Yeah.
I'm from Newcastle. I left when I was 18. I've been all over the place, in Yorkshire at the minute. But I'm still getting up for virtually every home game this season somehow.
You're a season ticket holder, are you?
Ticket up. No, I had one.
No.
And then I decided not to renew it when Steve Bruce didn't get sacked, and of course Piff took over in the October, so I gave it up just at the wrong time.
Ooh, bad timing.
But I've been to a lot of the games. I've even come out in the ballot once or twice.
Lucky man.
Once or
There you
twice.
go. Yeah.
But as we've been discussing, by the way, you don't have to be so lucky now, since the club are getting on top of all the bots and third-party sites.
Yeah, doing a lot better with it now, though. By the looks of things, could definitely still be doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Or do you think when there's just not as many people putting in for the tickets because of the dross that we've been this season?
Could be that as well.
Prove that we're wangers. Prove that we're wangers.
There's a few people got to drop out and wanting to go to make it straightforward. When I logged on to try and buy those Barcelona tickets on the general sale, and I was number 128,000 in the queue, I thought, what?
We are knackered.
We need a bigger stadium. That's a different conversation.
Exactly. I say 80,000 will do fine. And Mighty Win says Jordans will get tired. They won't go every week, so they'll just 60,000 he wants. Rubbish man. I don't want. Fans will fill it up. The fans will fill it up. Trust me. And which, by the way, we're going to talk about that because Joelinton, according to the Daily Mail, came out and has put a little bit of pressure on the ownership, as did Eddie Howe not too long ago, maybe a week and a half ago or so. He came out and spoke to the media. Joelinton now has joined Eddie Howe, according to the Daily Mail by Craig Hope, chief football reporter for the Daily Mail. He has joined calling on Newcastle's owners to deliver a world-class infrastructure that will showcase the club's ambition. However, the ownership have delayed announcements, of course. We know that, on a new stadium and training ground. And after more than 4 years, there is a feeling now that 2026 must bring some progress if Newcastle are to become number one in the world, as they have stated that that's their ambition. Howe said last week that he wants the hierarchy to end the sense of, quote, limbo where it comes to those off-field projects, and Joelinton agrees with that. He said, the team wants to be one of the best in the world, he said. For that, you have to be the best in the world in every respect, with the training ground, with everything to help the players to deliver their best selves on the pitch. He also says, I do think the club is going in the right direction. It is not easy to build something like that overnight. The club has made a lot of improvements since I came here. It is going in the right direction. I just hope that in the future we can be the best in the world with everything, the training ground and the stadium. So let's open with that, ladies and gents, because, and by the way, help us reach our goal on Super Chats. Please, 10 Super Chats this show. Please help the channel out. Super Chat right away. Smash that like button. Help us out that way if it's not the time to do that. Become a member or gift memberships away as well. So what do you guys think? They might win. Let me go with you. I mean, Eddie Howe speaking on this. Joelinton now speaking on this. It's not usual for this really to go. And I'm not trying to make it more than what it is, but it's not really usual. You don't see. We haven't heard players or managers speak on this particular case. Do you think that they are, and the question goes for everybody, but let's start with unfortunately, let's start with Mighty Win. And that, do you think, oh man, that the players are a little bit tired. Like they want a little more, but it also goes to question. They also have to put in as well for us to qualify the Champions League, for us to be an elite club year in and year out. What do you make of it?
I think the players are entitled to want, if you like, state-of-the-art training facilities. But since PIF have come in, they have, where we are right now, delivered those. You know, they've been putting in the cryogenics and the pools and everything where we are now. Is that going to turn Benton into a world-class football training facility? No, it's not. It's going to take a lot more money than that. But then the decision needs to be made. Do they plough in even more millions into Benton, or do they wait and see what's going to happen with the stadium? Because if that results in an out-of-town situation, then that's where you want the training facilities as well. That's where I'm at on that. I think for players to be using training facilities as an excuse for performances or whatever, that's nonsense.
Would you look at that, man? Dude, a little criticism towards the players. That's something we haven't seen from you in a long time. Only to defend Eddie Howe, so there you go. Boki, what do you make of this whole situation? We thought the training ground was set in stone already this anytime soon, but apparently we're knackered.
I agree with what Win says. We need to get things sorted out pretty quick. One thing I would say is it's coming at a very handy time that the players and Eddie have started making these comments. It's a little bit of a deflection. It's a little bit of a deflection tactic. We haven't been playing well on the pitch. There's been a lot of rumours going round about Eddie, a lot of him online, and local fans and fans that visit the ground are saying now that it's time for him to go. Has he used this, and is Joelinton using this to deflect the pressure from Eddie? So we're discussing something else. But I agree. We need to get the ground and we need to get the ground and the training ground sorted.
That's an interesting topic. That's a good way of taking it. It is kind of a bedwetter, twist on it. But I appreciate that. Critical thinking a little bit there. Tina, you are obviously going to think that there's nothing wrong with this, I'm assuming, in Joelinton and coming out.
No, I mean, I think it's it is interesting that they're coming out now and talking about it, because it's not something that historically players have done from teams, to come out and question the ownership's building of facilities. At the same time, though, a lot of the players who did join the team since the PIF took over were sold the idea of a project. If you listen to what Bruno said when he came, what Trippier said when he came, it was all, I believe in the project, I believe in the project. And that project was that we were going to build and we were going to become a powerhouse in world football. And part of this is having a new stadium. Part of this is definitely having new training facilities. The one thing I disagree with that's been said so far is that players couldn't use it as an excuse. I mean, I agree it's not an excuse. At the same time, though, world-class teams have world-class training facilities, and it does make a difference to how well you can get your fitness levels, what type of equipment that you're working with every day. It makes a difference. Better gyms can often produce better results. But, it kind of, is that what's in the background? That's kind of, because everyone's seen that the teams looked a little bit deflated this season, and in parts, is that because of the lack of movement for the training facilities? The one thing that I will spin on that, though, is it took Manchester City like 8 years before they got all of their state-of-the-art training grounds as well, so we're still in good time scale.
There you go. And now I'm interested because they're making their debuts here. So, Ian, I'm assuming you... Well, I'm not going to assume. Go ahead, man. What do you have to say?
I think it's... I can understand why they're talking now. I'm surprised it's Joelinton, actually, because if you remember, Joelinton was persuaded by Steve Bruce to come to the old Mike Ashley Newcastle, so he must be like a pig in class with the new development of the Benton training facility. But the big guys, Bruno, Tonali, Botman, Isaac, dare I say it, will have been sold this dream, and 3 years in, when there's not been a stone laid anywhere for a new training facility, that could easily be something that is working away to make people look elsewhere. I think it's taken too long to get the training facility underway. I understand the confusion over the bigger stadium. Everybody would love to stay at St James's Park. Whether they can extend it, whether it's cost effective to extend it to a smaller capacity than a new stadium would have, and there's loads of planning issues on that. I get that that's held up, but I don't think there's any excuse like that for the training facility. I think, yeah, you spend some money to patch up and bring what we've got up to speed as quickly as possible. But then you get on with putting a new training facility in. Wherever the ground ends up being, they're training away from the ground during the week. It doesn't really matter. I would point out that the Etihad complex and their facilities are second to none, I think. It didn't stop Manchester City having an absolute dreadful run last year. So there's not a direct correlation between the quality of your training facility and the consistency of your form in the league. Teams with great training facilities are being inconsistent this year. I just watched Liverpool drop 2 points at home to Leeds. I watched Chelsea held by Bournemouth. These have all got fantastic training facilities, but they still can't win the easy wins, if you see what I mean.
Leicester.
So, yeah, I think I get that the stadium's on the back burner. I understand that's a decision which is made once and has to be right. But I don't really know why they've held up for 4 years now before they've done anything on new training facilities. I think that should have been done quicker. I think PIF should have done that quicker.
Interesting. If you could, Ian, turn your mic up if you can a little more so we can hear you a little bit better if you could.
Bring it a little bit closer.
There you go. That's one way of doing it. That's one way. That's a good point, actually. You know, a very sensible take on that one. Michael, what do you make of this? Do you agree with Bogey? You were shaking your head in the affirmative way that maybe you are agreeing that this is the players, the managers trying to deflect from their poor form that Ian, your counterpart, has agreed that has nothing to do with bad form or good form. So what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, let's be honest, anytime a team's in a bit of bad form, we've seen Jurgen Klopp do it countless times over the years. Oh, we've had a bad draw. Let's blame everything. Mikel Arteta blames the ball. Newcastle, our players are just coming out at the minute and they're trying to just deflect away from it. Remember, we've got a good month of fixtures coming up. You deflect away from it after a bad result. You come back to it. In a month's time, no one's talking about it anymore. But I do think it's one of those that I remember not all that long ago seeing pictures of our players in bins and stuff like that outside the training ground. So I think it's one of those where the improvement that's been made, because there has been improvement made, I think they came to the club and quickly realised with the training ground, it would be better in the short term to sort of not rebuild, but sort of reconstruct what was already there. Yeah, upgrade rather than change things. Kenny, you're absolutely right. Howe blamed the wind at Brentford, and it's one of those. Every manager does it. So yeah, I think it's one of those. We've just decided to upgrade. Long term, we will end up building a new one. It will be some fancy multi-complex, but it is incredibly frustrating just how long it's took. So I can see both sides, but yeah, it is a little frustrating.
There you go, man. That's pretty good.
Can you not
build?
Go on. Can you not do some planning and build new facilities whilst also spending money upgrading the ones you have to use for the next year or two?
Well, it's interesting here because
it's interesting. PIF with hundreds of billions of pounds spare can do that.
They can do. I mean, they could literally spend. That has nothing to do with PSR. So really, nothing is holding them back. However, Toon Nut here in the comments says, "What's the point in spending billions on a stadium and new training ground when you're limited on what you can spend on players and wages?" What do you guys think of that?
Can I just quickly pick up on the Manchester City point? I think Manchester City had a easier start in all this structure building, because their stadium was already there from the Commonwealth Games, wasn't it? They basically moved into a brand new stadium that had already been built. So when they started the process, they already had that stadium ready made for them. Whereas for us, it's going to be build a new stadium and a new training ground. So there is kind of a difference between our process and their process.
Yeah. No, yeah, well, for certain they can get going a lot. They could get going a lot quicker than we are. But I mean, I don't see the two. I mean, going back to Toon Nut's comment, I don't see the correlation. I mean, you know, you got the money. You why do we have to be able to buy elite players or be an elite team, quote unquote, to get a stadium? I mean, how did Newcastle United don't need
there's planning and permission that you need to build new facilities. You can't just like, oh, here's some money, I'm going to put some bricks up here and build a brand new stadium. Like, you need full planning permission. You need to go through councils. Like, there's a whole legal red tape
I understand that
and all of it.
I understand that, but how long have we been going on about this? I mean, they haven't done any of that. I mean, surely they.
No, I understand what Tina's saying as well, and it is complicated in the area that the ground is. It's complicated because we don't want to move from being in the city centre. That's what's complicated it, because Birmingham is able to say they're going to have a stadium and announce full plans for it within a year. So I don't know if we're dragging our heels or if the red tape is just so awful that nobody can see their way through it. My point was that we could be developing training facilities separate from where we're playing our games and have that world-class training facility built while still using the old one that we've upgraded at the same time. I just don't get why we have to upgrade it and then work with it to the point where everyone's going, it's all right now, but it's nowhere near as what I was sold that I was going to get. And then we're starting to look for where to build it. I think that's taken too long.
But to be honest,
it's about 18. It's about 18 months now, isn't it? Since was it Ian McLaughlin was appointed, who had allegedly all of these fantastic connections, property wise with and development wise with the city council.
Better say he lied on his CV.
Let's face it though. Why don't the PIF just grow a pair of balls and go out and say to the Newcastle Council, look, exactly. Yeah, they give us permission to build a new stadium in the city centre. If you don't, we're going. And you try to explain. You try to explain.
How's fan reaction going to be to that? Sorry.
Well, no. You say to the businesses in Newcastle, the pubs especially, but all the obviously social, every sort of business. Why then people aren't going to be coming into town every week? There'd be a hell of a backlash on the council, and I don't think they would take the flak. So as I say, just grow a pair of balls and say, look, we want the land, otherwise we're out of here.
How would you feel if you're like, for example, the Sandman is a newer hotel right in front of St. James's Park. That's where the old brewery was at, right?
Yeah.
And you telling me that they spent all that money to build that new hotel for St. James's Park to be somewhere else? How gutted do you think they would be if that were to happen? You don't think these businesses? Do you think they might have a say? I mean, probably not. But I'm just trying to find. Do you think that these businesses could have some sort of a say and say, look, you guys need to come into because it's going to affect everybody involved. If these people,
kill the
say,
city,
you know what,
stone dead.
Well, that's my point, you know, and if PIF says, you know what, I'm done trying to talk, I'm just going to do it, and regardless, Newcastle United fans will go wherever the team goes. It doesn't matter where it's at. That's just as plain as simple as it is. They might whinge, they might not be happy, but they're going to go to matches. That's not going to change. So I don't understand. I agree with Bulky. I don't know. I mean, maybe PIF don't want to take that route to be, you know, very stern with their actions, but at some point, something's going to have to give.
Yeah, I've just seen sorry, go on, Tina.
I was just going to say, I think Becca's made a good point in the chat there, just saying that PIF probably want to do things very much by the book, because the last thing that PIF need is like bad PR. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, commotion when they first took over the team, and I think, you know, coming in and just like kicking down the door and being like, this is what we're doing, we're going to do this, we're going to move the team out of the city, I don't think that's going to go down super well, and it's definitely not going to be a good look on them, and I think they might just be trying to do this nicely.
But and then Michael, you're gonna get your point across. But I mean, what could happen? I mean, they own the club. What could happen? People are gonna say, "Oh, they're mean people. We're not gonna go to the games no more." No, they're not. They're just gonna keep on. But I do. There's a lot of people that believe like you, Tina. To be fair, that they don't make decisions because they don't want to be seen as this, regiment, basically. But Michael, you were going to say?
I was actually going to say exactly the same thing Tina said about Becca's
sorry.
comment. So great minds think alike. But on a similar note, I think I do agree. It's one of those, when the takeover happened, let's be honest, the big six, so-called big six, should we say, or none of them wanted it to happen. They were desperately trying to get it stopped. And now it's one of those that I've always thought there's a bit of a magnifying glass now on Newcastle United. You see it in games where teams are like, oh, well, Joelinton should be red carded every game. Clearly not, but there's always that microscope. And then on the wider note of sort of PIF, if Newcastle do anything sort of slightly out of the ordinary, let's be honest, we're going to be punished. If it's Manchester City's 116 charges, we're not going to hear about it for 5 years. But Newcastle spend £5 over what they're supposed to. We're not that club that needs protected. So it's going to be one of those where we get punished for it, unfortunately. So I can definitely see it. I'm not saying there's a massive agenda against Newcastle, because there isn't. It's just one of those where Big Six has to stay as the Big Six. The rest of us just have to try and get there.
But the new stadium wouldn't have anything to do with that. I think the only thing in question here is the green people want their park. And
the problem specifically with Leazes Park is not the city council. It's the national legislation, the listed buildings and British heritage and all that.
And no, but there was a lot talked about the park being taken away, and they want their green area because they go and they have a good old time. People go to Leazes Park and they have a good old time. They read their books and feed the birds. And so, and in Newcastle, you're really not going to find that much of that. Mighty Win, you got something to say about that, man? Because we walked through Leazes Park before.
You'll find more green space within a mile of Newcastle city centre than you will anywhere else in the country.
It's true.
But you don't believe that the people go to Leazes Park to have a good time, to read their books?
No, they don't. They use Leazes Park as a shortcut from Barrack Road to the RVI.
Oh, I disagree with
He's
that.
not wrong,
No, I use Leazes Park.
So what are these people that want?
Feed the ducks.
Feed the ducks.
Well, you're one of the 3 people a year that does that.
I got chased by a swan in Leazes Park once.
All the more reason to get rid of them.
I tried to feed them a crisp, and apparently it didn't like cheese and onion because I got chased in them.
Me and Win walked through Leazes Park last year, and I'm going to the Toon again, by the way, actually in a week's time or something like that, right? 10 days. So, but we were there. We met a lot of lovely people. Win. They were enjoying the park. They were enjoying the park. Why you say it, man? If you got something to say it. Why you keep laughing, man?
You're saying a lot of lovely people, tramps.
Wow.
Are you got a tab, mate? Get a job.
Come on, man. So, but why is it taking too long then? I mean, I don't understand.
It's exactly as Borky said, because PIF haven't got the bollocks to turn round to the council and say, look, our way or the highway, take your pick.
PIF
I've been advocating that since the takeover. In fact, I was advocating it under Sir John Hall when he first put in the plans.
Could you imagine the backlash against the council in Newcastle if Newcastle United started doing plans for an outer city stadium?
Well, I've said all along, all they need to do was put out outline plan permission at Woolsington or somewhere.
Yeah.
For a new stadium, conference facility, hotels, the whole shebang, and they would collapse like a pack of cards.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Ian, what do you think, mate? Do you agree with Mighty Wayne that they're not real people going out there to feed the birds and enjoy the scenery?
I think that's protected by so much legislation. I find it very difficult to unpick it. But I mean, I think it's 47 acres or something, and that Birmingham City Stadium was going to take up 48 acres. So there's an argument that Leazes Park's not big enough to do what we want to do on it anyway, which would be a hell of a battle to win and go through, and then find you didn't have enough space to do what you wanted to do completely.
Well, if you tear St. James's Park down, then you got that part too.
Then where are you going to play while you're transitioning between tearing down the current stadium?
Hey, I'm just telling you, there's only two. There's only two choices.
A Qatar container stadium on the town war.
There is two choices. I'm telling you, and you know which choices they are.
Yeah,
you chop your leg or your arm off. Go on.
I would love a bigger stadium. I'd have a better chance of getting a season ticket in it. But I do think that the way for them to go will be to expand St James's Park on its existing footprint.
Was there not already an issue with that? Because part of the stand that we didn't build already, like behind that's owned by somebody else or something?
Well, it's listed building, Lisa's Terrace, listed building, which about 400 people a year see. That's the people who live in there, who are the lecturers at the university. We've got 181 Grade 2 listed buildings, 75 Grade 1 listed buildings in Newcastle. And that is probably the least seen of the whole lot, because the only people who see it are people who live there.
Well, what we need is it to be back like the 80s when if they wanted rid of a listed building or anything, all of a sudden they just burnt down. They weren't there anymore. So.
We need a T. Dan Smith on the job. That's what we need.
Well, if you were to complete the stadium the way it is, on the making my name's wrong. Is it the Gallagher that
no, the East
not
Stand.
Completed?
The East Stand.
Is it that's not completed?
That's a stand now.
So
that's the smallest one.
Yeah. So if you bring it all the way up like the other part, that would cut the sunlight from the
from the
what do you call those?
building.
The Elizabeth.
Lisa's Terrace.
And that's. I don't understand how that's even an issue, man. You ain't got sunlight, just walk out. I mean, who cares, man? It's not. But
just have to work out how to build that East Stand up and using glass.
It's already been done. That was one of the suggestions, and they still said that when it's full, they'll not get that sunlight.
Right,
but
it's full for 3 hours, and then they've got the
exactly.
Freaking compromise on that.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
But anyway, to be fair, the East Stand you would need to get anywhere near the increasing capacity that we're looking for. You would need to move it back as well into the footprint of Lisa's Terrace.
Look, man, I don't know, but you would probably
Bogey hit the nail on the head. Grow a pair, and give them an ultimatum.
Well,
and we've got that gives us now. It gives us 3 years now till after the Euros to build somewhere else and move straight in.
And it would literally make a difference to the team as well, because is the intake of the stadium not included in some sort of the PSR evaluation? Because that's classed as income.
Infrastructure spending doesn't come into it.
Doesn't come into it. Well, in that case, forget about the stadium.
Do you not mean? I think she means more the fans coming in when, so you have more commercial revenues, don't you? So you
well, that's the thing. If you're building out the town setup, you have your own fan park there, where all the franchises are owned by the club. Every penny that they're spending, and believe me, they now know from running the stack how much fans can spend.
Oh, fans.
In that situation.
Fans will spend. Listen, man, I get told all the time that, obviously I have to take you by your word that the Northeast is that the income is not as high as other places, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, mate, they come up. Newcastle United come out with a 300-pound jacket and they get sold out in the same day. So I don't. This whole thing that people won't pay, I don't believe it. People will pay.
Oh, there's plenty of people turn up.
So, I don't. It's, yeah, go on, mate.
What we do need to say to Ian and Michael is, if we do move out the city and it's more than 5 miles from Gosforth, the man sitting next to us will be the first one whinging about it, going, "I'm not travelling that far to games."
I'll bear that in mind in any future points.
and did you guys tell me that the town moor is like a listed place as well?
Yeah.
Is that? so you can't really do anything there.
Greenbelt.
No, but it's not the same status as Elise's Park.
It's probably more.
Yeah.
Because what would be the difference if PIF were like, you know what, let's just buy it? Who owns town more? Is that
the freeman of the city? But there's loads of covenants on the land to say that you can't do this, that, and the other.
One thing I definitely heard.
But what you could do with a town more is have a temporary structure, which is why I've always advocated do a Qatar container stadium, Qatar World Cup container stadium, where you can play whilst you completely demolish St James's Park and rebuild. And if you were rebuilding on that same footprint, you could get 65,000.
Here, Gas NUFC says just extend. They gotta get and be done. Well, I mean, but isn't the metro there? So you can't really
You've
do
got
anything.
the metro for the foundations, and you've also got the access to the RVI accident.
And by the way, I heard that they were gonna do what they were gonna do is try to if they were to do it in the stadium, extend the stadium, they would have to move like the parking lot. The from the Milburn stand or something like that, or one of the two, or that one, or what's the other one called? Barrack, something like that.
Barrack Road is the Milburn stand.
Yeah. There you go. So they would have to like do a lot of work, and it would the whole setup would cost just as much as building a new one. So PIF are not stupid. I mean, and then on top of that, you would have to really. Can they really do much as far as adding stores and adding, the internet? I'm assuming they could do it, but all of that stuff that comes with a state-of-the-art stadium with an already built, and still spend about the same and not do much of an upgrade. That's really not feasible. But again, we got sidetracked from the topic of players and managers coming out and speaking on this particular situation. Do the players need to do their part for us to be also a elite team or close to it? Don't they need to do it? Last year, Mighty Win, you were going on and on about Isak saying that, we need to be a consistent Champions League team or something along those lines. And I think you said that, well, he also needs to do his part in being that person. So why won't the players?
That wasn't just me. That was Eddie said that as well.
Eddie Howe, Eddie Howe did. So
about the same time last year, by the way.
So which one is it then? I mean, because they're the ones performing on the pitch. They're the ones that struggle to beat the mighty, powerful, unbeatable, untreatable Burnley at turf. More turf wherever. Their little look at like Gateshead Stadium. With all due respect, with Burnley, so Mighty Win.
Chris, Burnley were one of the original 12.
Oh, Ian.
English League.
Time for a history lesson.
Do you also know that before us, there's only been 5 teams out of 19 games that have beaten Burnley by 2 goals or more this season?
Oh, my God.
Well, winning the league.
We're winning the league, it's done.
And we're only the second one to beat them at home.
Oh my God! Too much happy clapping here, man.
That's very true. Also, there was something else that was mentioned by Ian a moment ago that I also wanted to mention, which was last year, this superstar manager that everybody keeps talking about, the best manager in the Premier League's history, who's just drawn 2 nils each with Sunderland. He struggled last season because of one injury to his starting 11, and that's with the millions that he's been spending for the entire duration of his time there, building world-beating squads on world-beating squads on world-beating squads, and we have had a makeshift back 4, a 19-year-old centre midfielder playing at right back, and our best defender Lewis Hall injured for most of the season that we've been underperforming.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Just to get back to reality a little bit. In regards in regards to I think what you remember as well with the players that are here now, none of them are going to see, or very few of them, I would say less than 75-80%, it'll be gone by the time we get any new stadium or training ground built. So you've got to think why they're coming out making these statements at this point when, especially likes of Joelinton, definitely won't be. Even if we start building a new training facility now, or a new stadium, he'd be retired by the time it's done. So it's a
really?
strange one for the.
I mean, wait.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Well,
there's talks
that be talking 3-4 years for to build it, so I would think so.
Yeah, well, you're so, right, but I mean,
do
you really? Does anybody here believe that can be of any reason as to why the players might not perform or might perform at the training ground and all of that nonsense?
No, absolutely
I mean,
not.
Come on.
Unless it's based on like a thought that if we had better facilities, we could attract more like world-class players because you've got something to kind of show them. And they're then thinking, okay, if we had these facilities, we'd get to play with better players. We'd get to bring better players in.
If you're talking about attraction, money is the main thing, as Mighty Win always talks about. In a stadium would do that more than a training ground. A real stadium would, if you're really thinking about it. I just
in terms of revenue.
I just think that there might be a little of talking about something else instead of deflection, exactly. But as Boki pointed out, and I'm surprised that you're agreeing, Mighty Win, because you know that's not particularly your agenda. Ian is quiet. You know, he might be thinking the same. Do you think it has anything to do with the training ground?
I don't think that's got anything to do with the training ground. I think they get asked a lot of questions, don't they? They don't particularly want to suddenly spout forth on anything. They've probably got asked that question and just given an answer, and it gets taken out of context. But I don't think any player's going to say, "Oh no, when our training facilities are pretty good now, but they're not the best in the world, so our form's dipped a little bit." There's no logic on that. I think if you listen to Bruno and his heart on the sleeve assessment after a poor result, that's what the players will think.
But then then the manager comes out and tells Bruno is talking rubbish. He's 90% right and then 10% wrong. And, you know, so
90% right isn't saying someone's talking rubbish.
No, well, I mean, if your captain comes out and gives you a heartfelt statement on a loss, and actually the 99% of fans agreed with him, and then your manager out of nowhere says, you know what, he was 90% right and 10% wrong. We weren't a mess against the Maccabi.
Exactly, that was the only word was a mess, which is what Eddie. Other than that, he said he was spot on.
But we were a mess.
Why? He doesn't pulling his players out at all.
Why even come out with something
organized? They weren't. Eddie's point. They weren't a mess. They were organised, but they were organised in such a defensive, appalling. Well, yeah. The thing is, it was organised. It's just that none of them could actually make a pass to another Newcastle player. We just kept turning the ball over. You can be organised and not pressing forward and just control the game. Just look at how Man City used to kill the games off when they come to Newcastle, and they'd just keep the ball for the last half an hour, and we'd be desperately trying to get the ball back, couldn't win the ball back. That's what he was trying to do, was to be in control and then to push forward in the second half, I think. So he said he wanted to be more front foot, and then Nick Voltemade scored the best header of the season.
Don't remember.
Header, to be fair.
So what he meant was, it wasn't a mess. We had a plan. What he didn't say was the players were just really bad at delivering what that plan was.
Oh, is that right? He had nothing to do with it. Out of form. Eddie Howe had nothing to do with it. Eddie Howe never comes out and says, you know what, it's on me. The players, you know, it's on me. He never self-criticizes himself.
When did Steve Bruce ever do that though?
Yeah, but why are we comparing him to Steve? Again, it's the same. It's the same going back to Ashley. You know, everything is going great now because of when Ashley. Remember how bad it was with Ashley. There's no point in going back. Of course, Steve Bruce. I don't know how he. Yeah.
How does say that things are on him? He says he takes full responsibility for it because he set the team out. I don't think Howe's perfect at all, but I don't think anyone who's thinking it's time to get rid of Eddie Howe and bring somebody else in is deluded if they think there's anybody who understands the club and the players
is a message for you
there any better than he can. He doesn't get everything right. He's got to learn from it. He's too stubborn. He's too late with his substitutions.
So, but this is not a first time though, Ian. So when is he going to learn?
I know.
Because he's not.
I know, but look, he's bought time to learn on the job for me because he's with the Carabao Cup. He's put us in the Champions League twice.
But Ian, we're a big team now. You can't have people. We're a big team now. You can't have people learning on the job. And I would ask, when you ever heard Eddie Howe come out saying fully this result was fully down to me?
I've heard him take responsibility for the performances.
After what? Because I've heard him say we haven't played well. We've had issues. I've never actually heard him come out and say this this is fully my responsibility. This result.
I've heard it recently, Bulky. I'll go through and try and find where it was.
No, but mate.
Unless I'm wrong, maybe it's my rose-tinted spectacles that are on my ears. I don't know.
Listen, we got to do the confidential here that has a lot of news about potential transfers. The transfer window literally has started, hasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's today.
Open today.
So we can buy anybody. Don't get your hopes up. I mean, NUFC Talk is doing more signing. We already got 3 signings. We got Michael, we got Ian, and we got Kev. So we already got 3 signings already in the door on New Year's Day.
They're all free transfers, though, aren't they?
Well, they were free transfer. Yeah, that's right. That is true, by the way. That is true. But we got active men. But Newcastle United, is Eddie Howe still in charge? Was Ross, because somebody was saying that they were mates, so that's why he's allowed him to be hired at Newcastle United. So what's it going to be? Because the summer window was unbelievably bad, and we did spend a lot of money. We also sold for a lot, one player for a lot, and it seems to be it seems like Newcastle takes Liverpool's pants down on every striker we sell them. So far that's working.
Big money.
For big money. So let's go into the confidential.
Andy Carroll.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't even work out, and that was a lot of money at the time, man. That was a lot of money at the time. And that one deal got me upset at the time because I thought, why would you want to sell one of your best strikers ever? Because that's how I felt about Carroll at the time.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what I felt then when you saw, and nobody hated Ashley more than I did. But even I said at the time, you cannot turn down £35 million for Andy Carroll. It was stupid money for him.
You can when the only person coming in is Chef Nikuchi in the future.
But that's the problem.
The difference was we didn't reinvest the money. That was the problem.
100%.
So let's go to the confidential here. So it's a long thing and a long article. The problem here is, Craig Hope is saying, what do Newcastle need to do in January? He says, first of all, they need to clear their treatment room and make a call on who's staying and who is going. The immediate futures of Jamal Lascelles, Trippier, Joe Willock, Will Osula, all uncertain. First of all, surely that can't. A winter window is not. It's not to be thinking. It's to just get the deals done and get them in. So where Trippier, Willock, and all that should be probably at the end of the season. To see where they're going to be, or if they're leaving, if they're retiring, if whatever. We need to, if we're going to get players in, we need to get them in my opinion. I don't, there's not enough time to mess around with players. Or do you guys think that we need to be doing reviews at the moment of, Trippier, he's still hurt, I think, right? Jamal Lascelles, I think he's still hurt. Nothing. I don't know what's going on with him. Joe Willock, it seems like Eddie Howe trusts him over Ramsey all the time. So who's to say he's going to be sold?
Yeah, 100%. I think with Trippier, there was something being said that he might be back for Palace, which would be a miracle because he seemed to fall off the face of the earth. But I think with the winter transfer window, I think what we're going to see is, realistically, how much do PIF trust Eddie Howe with it? Because let's be honest, if your plans are we might bring in a new manager in the summer, we're not spending another 50 to 100 million on Eddie Howe players. Eddie Howe players have to be, athletic. The likes of Jacob Ramsey, the thing that he's apparently best at is getting up and down the pitch as a box to box. We haven't really seen it yet. But it's one of those, I think, we'll really see the intent of Newcastle and with Eddie Howe in the next month. Personally, I don't see anyone coming in, and I really, really hope I'm wrong. But it's one of those. The first player we've been linked with, a left back from Toulouse. I know there was the young lad from, I think it was Alkmaar as well. But literally the day we came out, we were interested in him. Now French sources are reporting he's injured. So that sounds somewhat
familiar.
Positive. Yeah, familiar is very well. But it's one of those where you're sitting there going, right, well, is it injured because Toulouse are now saying he's not going to play because, he'll end up at Newcastle? We see that kind of stuff all the time. Or is it just one of those where, let's be honest, no one knows what they're talking about, and we're just going to have a whole merry-go-round again.
I like that Jordy coming out. Man. But I mean, I agree with you, actually. I don't think we're going to sell anybody or buy anybody. So I just urge fans to just calm down, because don't hold your breath trying to expect that we're going to sign this top guy. I don't even see it.
The only thing I would say that Mike said there was
Ross Wilson's got £100 million burning a hole in his pocket, and this is his first opportunity he's got to show how good he is, what little gems he can winkle out. What players that will otherwise end up playing for Sunderland for 15 million and being worth 60 at the end of the season, that he can winkle out and bring in. I think you'll see some backup players coming in. You'll see backup right back, backup left back, because let's face it, we need him. It's the way forward is not to recall Matt Targett from Middlesbrough to cover for Lewis Hall, and nor is it to hope that Dan Burns' back gets well enough so he can play left back again. That isn't the way forward. We're short in certain areas, and I think I'll go out and buy players for the future in that. I don't see a massive purchase, but I think they might cash in on Willock. If they get money in for Trippier, they'll get him, because it's not just Howe that is hanging on to his pals. If Ross Wilson had been in, I think we could have got money in for Wilson when they were after him. I think Trippier would have got sold. I mean, we wasted a lot of money by not getting rid of those guys when there was interest in them, and they won't make the same mistake again.
Is this a window where we'll look at loan signings? Maybe look at
Eddie Howe doesn't do that.
Loan side. Well, it's not up to Eddie Howe now. It's up to Wilson. Hopefully,
Eddie Howe. Well, you're right. You could have a point there, but we'll have to see. Right? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should have a word with our loan manager.
Yeah. We'll look
That's the loan out manager.
We'll look at signings, and I know Tina will want Shaw out the club because she doesn't like him at all, does she?
Don't even start. Don't give us at least New Year's Day before you start on me, Bunky. Come on. We need to keep Shaw. You'll notice, right, against Burnley, Shaw cleared one off the line, and that first goal, that all came from Fabian Schär's pass. Just saying, in a strictly football sense, we should be keeping Fabian Schär and giving him a new 5-year contract.
That means. I
don't know about a new 5-year contract, but certainly there's worse players than five.
That means when Byrne is ready to play, he's not playing.
Right? I think Fabian Schär's been better than Dan Burn has been this season, albeit Dan Burn's played out of position for a lot of it. But I do think he's been, although he doesn't have that leadership. I mean, how can you drop a player who can ping a ball 75 yards and pretty much set up a goal? Or who cares enough about defending to clear one off the line when you're about to concede a goal? Like, that's important things for a player to be able to do.
Now, the big question is, do we have money to spend? The Daily Mail says yes, but not the war chest some perhaps believe in the wake of Isak's £125 million sale to Liverpool. Don't forget, we did spend £250 million. That, to be fair, I love Altamara. I like Wissa. He's all right. He's not the messiah that people think he is. And I like Chow.
2-2.
Chow has been, Altamara is just, I mean, crazy goals, man. Much better than Wissa. But Chow is literally one of the best signings of the Premier in the Premier League. In the Premier League. So that's something that nobody's talking much about, especially when you watch these so-called neutral stations out there, Sky and all them. Malik Chow is really unbelievable. And the jury's still out on Elanga. I don't know what's going on with him, man. But Ramsey, jury's still out on him.
Well, the only thing I would say about Ramsey is I would query what Mike said about him signing Ramsey because he was a physical box-to-box player. No, I think au contraire. I think the reason he signed Ramsey was because he's better technically than anything that we have, not specifically because he's an athlete.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, I could agree with that. And Ramsdale, that's another one that I read today that he's not impressed, so he's just going to go back to Southampton. So I don't know if that's true or not. I think that's a bit rash, to be fair. I'm not saying he should be the starting goalkeeper, but it does a point if he's not our player.
Anyway.
There you go.
We want a proper goalie.
Yeah.
Eventually. It's not priority number one for me by a long way.
Ian, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, if you're going to spend 25 million on a goalkeeper, don't spend it on Aaron Ramsdale after he's had a very indifferent half a season. I'm not convinced. I like him with the ball at his feet, but that's not plucking the ball out of the air and saving headers and pushing them around the post just because he can play a pass into the halfway line.
Yeah.
Keep us first jobs to stop goals going in.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Dropsky, he says, jury already made a decision on Ilanga. You said the jury's still out. I said that earlier. And now, Newcastle are in a healthy position, according to the Daily Mail, with regards to spending rules, but are also mindful of heading into the next summer with funds available and freedom to invest. So, again, don't really expect too much going on in the winter window. Again, I could agree with Ian there, a left back here, maybe a right back too. Maybe both. I'm not sure if we will do both, but one or if Osula is leaving, because he did have a lot of two teams really, Aston Villa and then the German team trying to get him. He's been hurt, and it turned out to be a lot longer than he was supposed to be. Nobody really said what was going on with him, but he's been out for, I'm assuming, like 2 months.
Yeah, it feels like it's Harvey Barnes' toe 2.0, where he's going to be out for 2 weeks, and then 3 months later, you're still like, has anyone heard from Harvey? No? Where is he?
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. So, as Ian was saying, this is Ross Wilson's first window since his September arrival, and he is looking at the bigger picture when it comes to the recruitment as opposed to the short-term fixes. So, if you were to make I think Ian already answered that with the fullbacks, where does Newcastle United need players at?
For me, I know it's been said earlier that maybe goalkeeper wouldn't be priority, but I think for me, I think it is because, when it comes to chances conceded, we don't concede that many chances. But I'm not going to lie, you look at the game against Brentford, West Ham, Tottenham, I've still got nightmares about. You look at those and the goals are actually conceding. You're looking at the goalkeepers and going, what on earth is going on? Now, I'm not sure I have an answer in who the goalkeeper is. I do think the answer will end up being James Trafford, which I'm not particularly fond of, but that's kind of how I see it. But you can't really bring him in without letting Ramsdale go, whether that's one loan gone to bring another loan in. Let's be honest, he ain't happy with how things have gone at City. But for me, it's a goalkeeper because you can't concede. I think we're the only club in the division that has conceded the same amount of goals as we have so-called big chances. Everyone else concedes like 40 big chances and 20 goals, and it's like you're sitting there looking at it and going, well, clearly either there's an issue in the back line, and to be fair, we've just said Malik Chow, absolutely fantastic. We've got some decent cover in there as well. Or you look at the goalkeeper, and I don't think I've been impressed by either of our goalkeepers at all in a game this season. And I was more impressed with Dubravka last year than Pope. So, I think we need a goalkeeper, and I think it's the area where we're desperate. I agree with fullback cover as well, though.
Yeah, man, that's a good point. I mean, remember Dubravka is a great man, but Eddie Howe threw him under
one
the
of
bus,
our
ran
own.
over. Eddie Howe threw him under the bus, ran over him, backed up again, ran over him again. Got him to sign up a contract, and then never played a game after that. That's insane.
Beautiful assist for Bruno the happy clap on Dubravka.
And the happy clappers, say Eddie Howe is a great man. Treating me like that, I'd be knackered, man. Okay, now. But it is what it is. It is what it is. He's gone now. He did a good job for Burnley, by the way. And by the way, if you wanted James Trafford, again, I repeat myself, that could have been the easiest deal ever, man. Just give them what they want. Dubravka, maybe more money because James Trafford is worth a little more, than Dubravka. And that should have been done deal. I don't know how that worked. We looked like fools on that one. I mean, come on, Wayne. Even you got to agree with that.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. The reason the transfer window was the mess it was because of AIF digging their heels in, saying Isak's going nowhere.
Ain't got nothing to do. What's that got to do with Isak, man? Talking about the goalkeeper there. That should have been done way before anything. Again, deflecting.
There was other items on the agenda. We needed wingers. We needed a striker.
I don't think Trafford was ever coming. I think Man City was sitting waiting to see what the price was, and as long as it wasn't stupid, they would step in as they could do under the terms of the contract by which they'd sold him. They'd step in and they'd have him back, which is what they did. They stepped in. We were going for Trafford, and he was never.
And if you're Trafford and you've got the choice between going to Newcastle or going to Man City, where do you pick?
Well, but this was before all of this, though. Before even Man City wanted to replace the goalkeeper, we should have got that deal done. It was I think if I chat there, it says, give Forrest 45 million in Ilanga for Anderson back. Well, listen, they probably take him, to be honest. 45 million now. And a player, I don't know. But they probably wouldn't, actually, because they really rate Anderson. So, yeah. As AZ Almar's Keith Schmidt is top of the midfield wish list for Newcastle United. However, the Daily Sport understands that the 19-year-old is unlikely to move this month. And if he does, it would be for a fee beyond where Newcastle want to go in the winter window. Figures north of £40 million have been mooted in recent days. £40 million for a 19-year-old. I mean,
that's talking 60.
It's criminal.
Yeah, I heard today.
I mean, I don't understand that. And then also, Kevin Danoy, I think is his name, 21 years old. And Feyenoord's Luciano Valente, 22, are also midfielders of interest for Newcastle United. There is more one for the summer, but I can reveal, Craig Hope, that Newcastle will not revisit a move for James Trafford. There you go, as it stands. So Newcastle will not go for James Trafford. There is a feeling that after two failed approaches in the summer 24-25, the goalkeeping focus must shift elsewhere. A lot of people in the chat don't want Trafford. So, but who would you go get for a goalkeeper? To be honest, how many are available really that are good? I'm not, who?
Be interested to see if anybody emerges from AFCON.
Going in, he's at AFCON.
Oh my God!
No, I don't know. I don't know a goalkeeper. That's what I think. It's going to have to be somebody out of Europe. Ter Stegen, he's on the move, isn't he?
Oh, that would be proper. That's a proper signing right there, man.
Don't know how old he is, but
I think the manager wants him. He's chosen another goalkeeper, so he's not a regular. No, Ter Stegen, come on, man. I don't think anybody would deny that. A lot of talent, really good goalkeeper with his feet, with his arms. I mean, experience. I wouldn't say no to him, but that's a good shout though. And it was a rumor before as well, so it's nothing that doesn't have any, substance to it. But we don't know yet. And again, finding that goalkeeper, why would you go and get a young goalkeeper that nobody cares about? What's the point? You might as well just keep Pope and or Ramsdale. So
because you can build a goalkeeper though, like we did with Tim Krul. Like he was brought in as a young and he spent a lot of time not in the first team, and then he became our first team regular goalkeeper. So there's a young Swedish goalkeeper, I think he's Swedish, who we're supposed to be going for, who again is a ball-playing goalkeeper. He would probably be a fair shout if you were going to bring in a goalkeeper. I don't think we'll prioritise that this window, but...
I got a few names here from the Daily Mail saying that Newcastle are discussing these names, however, not currently being pursued. including Real Sociedad's Alex Ramiro of 30 years of age, and Dortmund's Gregor Kobel of 28 years of age. So don't know any of them. But there you go. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm
just having a quick look down the StatBot's top European goalkeepers, and all of the names there are already at clubs, and they ain't going to be moving.
We already have a keeper out on loan. Is that keeper that's out on loan any worse than Ramsdale?
Vlachodima.
Oh,
Vlachodima. Yeah. I'm being serious with that question because I don't think he's a bad keeper.
I genuinely think he's shocking. I'll be honest with you. Because I remember the if you remember when we played Forest in the cup last year, their second choice was one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen. The only thing he had about him was he was a tree, 7 foot or something like that. Couldn't save a shot. And I think when I've seen Odysseus for Greece, I remember England played them. He should have saved the goal there. Obviously, can't talk much about him in the Newcastle squad. But even for Sevilla, when he first went over, I think people have hyped him up because of good performances and against Real Madrid and someone else as well. But I remember when he first came in, he was the only lone player we had that actually played any games. And they weren't impressed by him at all. Now he's grew into that position. But I think that's a division where Southampton's second choice goalkeeper from a few years ago has gone and done unreal there. I think it's one of those where I don't think La Liga is really a great place for goalkeepers. Now, I think that's maybe just a lack of sort of talent on that side. And I think it's one of those where realistically, I don't think he's anywhere near where Ramsdale or Pope is, but the standard is so terrible where everyone's like, look, I just want something different. And that's the hard part, really, finding something that's just different.
Well, I mean, somebody, I think they're taking the P in the chat, but that Sevilla goalkeeper is class. I mean, Vlachodimos is really wanted at Sevilla. They want to buy him. So why not give an opportunity? He hasn't been given an opportunity. He's played 1 game or 2 games here and there. So, I mean, so we don't have to spend money on it. Can we not give him an opportunity to just give him a good run of games?
No, I think he's already made it clear he's not coming back here.
Well, he says he doesn't like England, so that's not a good start to the relationship. But
I think the biggest problem is Eddie Howe wants an English keeper. Let's face it, he wants a British keeper. And
what the heck?
The best British keeper he could get would never ever come here.
Yeah,
he plays for Everton. So we're kind of in
I don't know. First of all. But listen, I thought about that as well. So Boki was caught red-handed before, but he is not a Mackham. He's a Newcastle fan. However, I also thought about that. I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you did, look, do you really believe that he would say no to Newcastle at this stage in his life? Everton not doing much of anything. Newcastle are protagonists to a certain extent, of course. Nothing crazy. Forget about our fans. Just for a second, do you think that he really would say no to Newcastle United?
Yeah, we're Everton now, right now. I think he would. This is the best he's ever known at Everton.
Oh wait, man! Everton
they've gone into their new stadium. They're sitting above us in the league.
God. I mean, Lee Clark signed for Sunderland, so I suppose anything could happen.
It's happened before.
Lee Clark didn't have Sunderland fans dressing up as T-Rexes and walking backwards and forwards in front of him when he was coming
their relationship didn't start right, but it's not the first. It wouldn't be the first time. Remember, War striker. What was his name? He played for the Mackhams as well. Chopra. He's a Geordie, and he ended up going to the Mackhams. And he actually kept them up. He scored a lot of goals for him. Actually, probably played for the Mackhams better than he did us. Well, but I would say
he was given for us. That's why
he was given an opportunity. He was given more opportunities there than over here. So it's happened before, man. So
Do you know what I think Pickford maybe would sign for if we had the
I'm telling you, man. You bet. I don't think he would say no. I honestly don't think. I mean, he would need some persuading. But now, what do you think?
I'm pretty sure he would say
Could anybody argue that wouldn't be an upgrade on a keeper as well?
Do you don't think it would be an upgrade? I think he's one of,
Absolutely.
No, I'm saying, could anybody argue that it wouldn't be an upgrade? It would be an upgrade 100%.
100%.
No doubt about that. But I mean, the age he is, if he's got 2 or 3 years left playing, he's then got the rest of his life to live. And he ain't going to enjoy that rest of his life if he stays for the two.
Well, that is
Champions League.
That is a fair point.
I don't rate Pickford much.
Oh,
I don't.
I think that's harsh.
That's Lewis, man.
That's poor. That's really poor from
him. Pickford let 4 goals in just a few weeks ago against Newcastle, and Lewis Miley's went straight. It went down his waistband of his shorts and came out one of the legs. It went straight through him. Pickford is very good for England, but I think he's. I don't know. I think he's okay.
I think he's the reason Everton are still in the Premier League. To be fair,
that could be said.
Possibly. That just means he's better than the Southampton goalie. Who was it they had again? Oh yeah.
Or Ramsdale.
I didn't like him either.
Not for the money he's on. He's on 120 something K a week, man. That is criminal. That for a goalkeeper. So, but I mean that's 1 point. I mean, but then again, you're running out of names for goalkeepers. We got another super chat there from Waza. Boki, 9 buttons, 3 chins, 5 bellies, Nas out. There you go, man. What? Just let you know, Ian and Mike.
I'm joining you there.
Ian and Michael, Warren is something else, man. You just got to get used to him. He's something else.
Chris, I've got to take that one on the chin. I'm choosing this one.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one, man. So as far as that's concerned, I mean, those were the names for the goalkeepers. There might be. He also did how have our summer signings played so far, performance so far. Obviously, Ilanga has been the biggest disappointment so far. No goals from 25 appearances. He has struggled to make any type of impact. Actually, was he on the list this past game? I don't think he was on the list at all, was he?
No.
Injured.
Oh, he was injured. Okay.
Injured.
Had a few personal issues as well. I'm not sure what he did have his wife, I think, give birth maybe, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere along those lines. So he had to leave Sweden, remember, early. But I don't know what's going on with him.
I thought it was Tonali who's just had the baby.
The same. Everybody's got a baby in the oven, man. Everybody's got a baby in the oven now. That's in Newcastle. Maybe that's why lack of sleep, man. That's probably why Tonali is not performing. Lack of sleep is criminal, man. I'm telling you, when it comes to baby.
Did affect Bruno for about 2 games. He went off the boil for 2 games when.
People don't think about it, but that's literally the baby don't care about what you make or what you do for a living, and so. But what do you guys think on Ilanga? I mean, that would be the main topic, I guess, as far as signings is concerned. Because I think everybody's going to be happy with Voltamata, with Wissa coming in, and now Malik Chiao, of course. Ramsey, I think Ramsey is doing all right. I mean, he's not a regular starter, so but Ilanga is the biggest upset because. How do you go from
bear
being
in mind,
one of...
Ilanga was the first one in the door, and when he was signed, it was ostensibly to play with Isaac. And then the whole Isaac
stop it, man.
Took off.
That is totally fair.
And that's supposed to be an excuse? I don't get to play with my mate, so I don't play good at all? How way, man.
No, but he wasn't playing with him. When he started, it reminded me so much of John Dahl Thomason. John Dahl Thomason, when we signed him, in the first 2 minutes, missed a sitter against Sheffield Wednesday,
leave him alone,
and that destroyed his Newcastle career. Ilanga did the same against Villa, missed a sitter after less than 2 minutes, and he's never looked the same since.
I've always thought that if Gordon had put away that chance against Barcelona, that Ilanga would have assisted. I've always thought since that didn't go in, I've always thought that that's what knocked Ilanga down a bit, because up until then I was actually quite happy with Alanga. He looked really fast, he was getting down the wing, he was putting crosses in, and then Gordon did that little thing where he just jumped out the way of the football and nothing happened from that. And since then he's been terrible, but he has just had a kid. If Chris is going to give an excuse to Toon Army for that, Alanga has just had a kid. His friend who he was brought to play in the style of football that he was brought in to play was also moved on.
The fact is, you said it. He just had a kid. He hasn't had a kid all year, and he hasn't been good all year. That's the problem. So he's.
Yeah, but it's why he's for the last 9 months.
Just as well. It's not the players who have the kid.
No, it's the way.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So you know, let's. I know it'll be tiring for them. I'm taking the mic a little bit there, but with the
you're old school. The women have the children.
Oh man!
Apart from you, Win. But with that, with Alanga, we scouted that lad for 2 years. How we got it so wrong? How have we managed to get this decision so wrong?
But to be fair,
because all the time we were scouting him, he was doing the business.
That's what I'm saying. He was performing.
In which case, what we done when he's got here to turn him off being the player that he was?
All his best friends.
What are the coaching staff doing wrong with him?
I think it's one of those where I think with Forest,
he has had some good games. He's had some good games. I mean,
he has some good games.
He's not brilliant, but there are some games where he does turn up, mainly in the Champions League. But I think was it not him? He was destroying the.
Well, he had a blinder against Barcelona.
Yeah, and Union San Gilvaz
and USG
tripped up for the penalty. And put the cross in for the first goal. He's so fast. They've got to persist with him. They've got to work how to play him. I think they've scouted him that long. They know he's a good player. He's just, I don't know if it's bad confidence or what.
It's all
he
confidence.
Must be better than Murphy. He must be better than Murphy, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I was actually going to say what Steve's just said. Forrest played such a direct counter-attacking style of play where every time he got the ball, it was pretty much, you've got someone to run at, you're one-on-one. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've seen plenty of times this season where Alanga's had the chance to run and he's just sort of dawdled and lost the ball. But I think the way we play and the way we're probably training, he's not getting that sort of opportunities, and it's sort of, it's not knocking his confidence, I don't think, as much, but it's one of those where you look at his best game was probably Everton. We had we didn't have much of the ball at all in that first 30 minutes. I know we did in the end because it was comfortable, but I think Alanga will see the better of him sort of in those Champions League, in those top games, and I don't think he's been brought in to play against the likes of Leeds, etc. That's where Murphy comes in. Murphy plays a lot more of those direct crosses, a little bit more pinpoint. Alanga's there for the depth, and when we're sort of, let's say we're 1-0 up, teams are coming at us, we'll chase the game, bring Alanga on, do something there. But I think it's going to be the same as Gordon. First 6 months Anthony Gordon was here, he was arguably one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. And then he had his first full season, 10 goals, 10 assists, and you sit there going, we've got a £90 million winger here. And, well, we definitely don't.
and then fell off for the next 2 years. So there you go. It's tough, man. I don't know what to say about Ilanga. I don't know, because he literally doesn't look like a footballer. He looks like.
Well, we're not going to get our money back on him, so we've got to push it. Yeah, simple as.
Yeah, that's true. Was a super chat there. Tonali made it. He didn't have it. Well, there you go. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. By the way, we've been linked with Nathan Ake of TalkSport, saying that we've been linked with him. But did he get hurt today against the Mackhams?
Yeah, picked up an injury from what I saw.
We'll have to see, obviously, how that develops.
I've got the Bournemouth connection.
But isn't that he is a centre back? He can be a fullback.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of versatility. It's not the Dan Burn for versatility.
No,
he's a proper.
He's fit about as often as Sven Botman's fit. He's another Dutch centre half that's on the treatment table 90% of the time. We don't need Nathan Ake.
Yeah, but if you've got two of them that get injured a lot, then while one of them's injured, you can play the other one, and then the other one gets injured, the other one will come back. It'll work out quite good.
Together. If
well, for us, we Zach and Wilson.
Oh, yeah, mercy. Yeah, I don't know about him either, but that's who we've been linked with. Really, there was talks about this Neves from Saudi, again being linked with Newcastle United. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that this stuff is going to happen. People thought that we were going to get these Saudi players all the time, have a Saudi link, basically a highway of players coming in and out from Newcastle and Saudi. That's not going to happen. That hasn't happened, and it just doesn't happen. It's just plain and simple. But before we end the show, because we got another 10 minutes, I wanted, because now we got the new participants of the show, I want to get your takes on the current situation and talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go to the comments, to the star comments. You know, a lot of people want Eddie out, a lot of people want Eddie in. Where are we in this current situation? Where are you guys? Are you Eddie in, Eddie out? Well, let me go with, obviously Ian has made it clear. If you want Eddie out, then you're delusional. Basically, more or less, you said, right, Ian?
I think it's the wrong time to make any sort of a change. I don't see anybody out there, or you could get Maresca now. Oh no, probably not.
That was criminal, by the way. What happened?
How gets Newcastle? He's delivered so much. You know, if you want somebody who is committed to our cause, and I think he does have the players playing for him. He doesn't get everything right. I know that, but yeah, you've got to stick with him. You know, what did you do? Yeah, I couldn't believe after. I mean, that was awful watching the game against Man U, but we were so in charge of that game. It wasn't his fault that nobody could hit a barn door with a banjo. 16 shots or something we had. 20 shots we had against Burnley. That's 2 away games when we're not supposed to be able to score away from home. I think you've just got to stick with him, and you've got to, you know, class is permanent, form is temporary. It's the players who are out of form. Stick with him.
That's interesting. Michael, what's your take on this whole situation?
Considering I was initially called a bedwetter in the first 5 seconds of being here, I'm probably going to surprise a few people. I actually think Eddie Howe should stay till the end of the season, till the minimum. I think it's one of those. He's deserved that. He deserves that. And we're close enough where we don't have to make any rash decisions. It's one of those where, 4 points off top 5, which is Champions League. We've got a great run of fixtures coming up in January. I'll be honest. After the Sunderland game, I was sitting there going, right, he's got till after I think it was the PSV game, because, you know, the games in between then are the easier games. And if things hadn't improved by then I maybe would have considered getting rid. But the manager market isn't really there for me. There's no one that I look at and go, you know what, I'd fancy him at Newcastle. The only person that's sort of exciting, and this is a month ago, I would have said Oliver Glasner, and then I'm seeing how his team are playing in the Conference League, and then now this season, and all of a sudden you're going, well, hang on, he's had success where he's been, but he doesn't look like a great shout in the Premier League with a team in Europe, so that's no improvement on Eddie Howe there. Historically, there's nobody, I think, that does a better job than Eddie Howe for Newcastle this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think he can take us any farther. I think that you need to give him until the end of the season. I think it's best for everybody. Give him a good send-off. And PIF has until the end of the season to find his replacement. But we need to make an upgrade. We don't need to get Iriola to teach him how to be a manager. We need managers that are already established, that can do the job, and see who's available. There's going to be more options, you would assume, in the summer than right now. I don't think there's anybody.
I mean, the only thing I would say about Glasner is, because he would be my choice, is that you know you're saying, look at what he's doing, etc., etc. Well, we've seen what he did with Frankfurt, and also at Palace on a very limited budget, when he's been forced to sell all his top quality players. He's still doing very, very nicely. Thank you.
Yeah, and Eddie Howe hasn't lost a game in 2026, so...
That's a happy clapper statement, actually, to be fair. That's a happy clapper thought process there, mate. So there you go. That's incredible. Let's go with some of the chats here, and before we finish off. see what good is going on here. Pete says, Eddie Howe after the Brentford. My message is that we know it's not good enough, and I take full responsibility for that. End quote. And that's
Boki.
There you go, Boki. There you go, man. We're answering to you. See, Ian having some help in the chat. Becca says, welcome to the new panelists. You're doing a fab job, bringing some different perspectives. So you're doing well, by the way. It's going by really quick. Really surprising. It's going by really quick. You know, me with Win, putting up with Win is dreadful, man. So I'm glad that you guys are coming on and helping me out here. War Captain Bruno, maybe J7 cares about the club and fans' future, not just his own personal gain. Maybe because some people were saying that he wasn't going to, be playing when we get to build the stadium built. Jordy up in Edinburgh says, what is the situation PIF been for? What is the situation PIF been in for 10 years if no new stadium? Or if they're in for 10 years and no new stadium? Well,
cross that bridge when we get the winner.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. He doesn't want to answer the questions. That's happy clappers, man. That's their motto. Jody Hawayman says it's. Oh, these are the adjectives that some of the people have come up with on the Leases Park. Let's go and see what. Feed the birds, maybe feed the rats, says Stephen Cameron.
Not in Liverpool.
Steve there says drug addicts and ladies of the night, more or less over there at Leases Park. I haven't been.
We'll have to give it a go, Michael.
That's a one-man conquest. It's not a double team.
I like that. That's a good one.
I've kept really quiet. But I'll tell you something. He went down in my estimation when he said that.
That's lovely. That's good. You and Ian and Win, we're gonna be. They're gonna get along very well, ladies and gents. Because Win is also. They're dogs, man. They're dogs. More adjectives here. It says Toon Nut Win spent a load of my childhood in the Leases Park. There you go, mate. See? Come on, Win. Come on, mate.
I spent a load of childhood.
No, he did. Jody Howe, is that a bad word? The D word? Because
No.
I'm American.
No,
A dust hole. There you go. Because remember that other, what is that with the starts with an S?
Yeah.
And P? Yeah, that was a bad word. There you go. They were talking about Ake there. Yeah. So act like the mafia, basically, like, what Boki was saying about.
That's exactly what they should be doing.
Just tell the city council. There you go.
Native Americans, by the way, I'm assuming is saying that wouldn't be right, but do for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was saying it in a negative connotation.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
Civic Hall.
Thank you, Joelinton, for saying the word that I didn't know it was a bad word. We shall not repeat that, of course, but thank you for being a member for 13 months. NTV Plus member. There you go. I didn't know. I read it out loud, and I was like, and they were like, whoa. I didn't know. I did not know because they say we threw away money. We threw
up against the wall.
Chris,
we threw away money.
It's not a bad word. It's a good word that has then been taken over,
used in a bad way. That's right.
Because what we want our midfield to show a lot of spunk every game, because that's when they get.
There you go. Hey. I like that, man. That's proper. Ashley signed J7. Kenny says, Ashley signed J7. Bruce asked, who are you when he met him? Ashley signed J7, I guess, at the time. And he was a striker,
J9
remember?
at the time.
Up and coming number 9, baby. And now he is knackered. Is a number 9. Brian, if Joelinton is slagging the owners for dragging their feet, it means he's probably away this month. I doubt that, but
to Saudi.
The Saudi maybe.
200 million, baby.
Yeah, I wish that was the case, but it ain't gonna happen. Cam, that PIF built not one brick. That's where all the problems are concerning. From while talking about being number 1. I guess the fact that they haven't put one brick down and they're talking about being number 1. And Hopkinson saying that 2030 is the year, baby, when Newcastle are elite. So
I think what we have to say is though that they have spent a hell of a lot on the training ground, and
they've spent a lot
they've spent a hell of a lot on the stadium as well. So they haven't been completely
and the women
hands. They have spent a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
And on women as well. He's quite right.
Yeah. Chris Richardson says, do we not think they want the stadium sorted first, which is complicated, as if they have to move the stadium out of the city, the owners might want to build the training next to the stadium. Yeah, well, that's what Wayne was saying.
That's what I think.
So have it all in one place. Well, those are the comments there, ladies and gents. Let me ask.
Was a super chat?
Oh, we got a super chat there. Go on.
Ian looks like Arthur Cox, and Michael looks like Tom Cruise.
Hey, I've never heard that one before, but I love you, miss.
There you go.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
Should have gone to
leave it
there. Right, there you go.
Oh, lovely. Listen, did you guys, Ian and Michael, did you guys have fun?
Oh, I've had fun, man. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been a lovely show, man. I'm sorry you had to put up with wind, but we're gonna try to keep you guys separated. So you're not bothered with wind. No, I'm just playing, man. Win is a tough lad, man. I'm just giving him a lot of crap. He's a Man U fan though. After the takeover, he came over here to Newcastle. So we're gonna. And by the way, people in the chat talking about Boki. Oh no, man! Boki, man, that is not you. That is AI. That is AI. That is
everything.
Oh no, man!
Sadly, it's not AI.
That is Boki right there. This is his grandpa. That's his grandpa, and this is his grandchild. There you go, Chucky the Maco, man. Chucky the Maco. No, Boki, explain yourself, man. Explain what this is.
I just love Sunderland, but
no!
What I did want to say the other night, the other day, Tony picked us up on the goal for Newcastle, a Bruno one, and saying I didn't celebrate it. I thought it had went wide. That's why I went and then started cheering.
There you go, man.
This was a bet. I'm gonna have to explain it because otherwise everyone will just be calling us out. This one was a bet. Basically, I used to work in Sunderland. We had a bet that if Sunderland won, I'd wear a Sunderland top, and if we won, they'd wear a Newcastle top, and obviously Sunderland won. So really, it's Newcastle's fault, and you can tell it's not my top just simply by the breasts.
And he's not happy. He's not happy. He's certainly not happy. We will put Chucky the Mackham there. He will put Chucky in there instead of it. Anyways, lads, listen, we've had a great show. We'll be back, of course. Michael and Ian will be joining us regularly now. Talking Toon, man. That's all we do, man. Just talk Newcastle United. That's what we're good at, if we are good at anything, really. Yeah, so we'll be back at it tomorrow. Live presser at 9:10 UK in the morning. Join us for the presser. Mighty Wayne and Gary should be there. Boki, you in for that one?
The presser, yeah, I can do the presser tomorrow.
Okay, man. Because listen, folks, you heard me. I'm talking to them. They know what it is. They know what time to show up.
Hang on, then can I have a lie-in?
No. No. Listen, man, you're retired. You're lying all the time, man. Come on, you need to move them muscles, man, or else rigor mortis will set in. You got to move, man. You got to move, Mighty Wayne. Ian, Michael, you guys, anything to say before we go on?
Thanks for the kind words from everyone in the chat. Look forward to seeing you a lot more in 2026.
Oh yeah, man, definitely.
I'm not sure Arthur Cox was kind words. All right.
I got Cruz up at me.
Ben cold words, man. Ben cold words. There you go. But listen, we'll be back at it tomorrow. No late night show on Fridays, of course, but we'll be back. Nothing on Saturday, I don't think, but Sunday match day, already with the build up, with the live match commentary, and then Monday and all of that. We're live every single day.
Hang on, no, I thought you said we're doing Toon tomorrow.
More than likely, but it is still holiday week here, man. So we probably will do a party night.
Yeah, make your mind up.
Listen, we will try to sort it out, man. So we probably will do. We'll have a music night and send in your super chats with your suggestions, your requests. We're probably going to do that at 8 p.m. UK. More than likely. Stay tuned. Anyway, hit the like button, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, And thank you to the super chatters there. I think Warren only, and I think that was only Warren. So anyway, see you later, folks. Take care. And
how are the lads?